Woohoo! Every night for the past couple of nights, I go to sleep and wake up more shredded than I was the day before. And that's what it's all about. Making progress. Staying disciplined enough to know that you are eating less calories than you burn. And as a result of that practice, you are burning fat from your body and waking up lighter and more physically fit. That's the dream. That's the goal. And for the past several days, I have been accomplishing that goal with much success. I'm pretty happy. I think that as the progress becomes more perceivable, it is easier to adhere to the strict restrictions that I have set upon myself. I'm in the final stretch of this thing, so far as reaching 5% body fat is concerned. I don't know how many weeks away I am, but I can see it on my body. I can see the leanness. I can see the vascularity. I go to the gym, and just from the first 5 minutes of getting a pump, immediately I can see the end result. And it's extremely exciting. My diet's a bit different from the last time that I've been so lean, had such a low body fat. And it's really because I developed this fear. We're in 2023 now, but I developed this fear in the middle of 2022 when I had gotten down to 178 through excessive fasting and binge eating. And when I look at photos of myself in that weight range of 178 to 181 in 2022, and I compare those photos to, how I looked at 178 in 2021 when I was strictly on a caloric deficit, my midsection looks completely different. And I'll post photos. I've posted photos in the past of the side-by-side comparison, but the 2021 180 weight measurement, I looked so scrawny and so malnourished, and my sides, my torso were just, there was no obliques, there was no definition, there was no detail. It just looked like I've been starving myself, which essentially, I know that they don't call fasting starvation, but it looked like I was starving, as opposed to 2021 version, 178 pounds, and I did it the right way, and I just had all this, everything was there. Everything was just in its right place. So this time around, I'm being extremely mindful of how I get from point A to point B in relation to losing body fat. And I have this new strategy, and I got it from what else is on the internet, such as bodybuilders talking about how they eat more protein when they're losing weight in an effort to maintain muscle retention. So I've been doing that, and I've eaten more protein powder in the past 3 to 4 weeks than I have in my entire life. I wasn't a type of person who actually took supplements or did protein shakes or anything like that. But in an effort to increase more protein in my diet, because I don't want to lose any muscle while I'm on this fat loss journey, I'm taking like 2 scoops of protein throughout the day, whey protein, I'm probably going to have my own brand of whey protein in the future called Whey of the Shred, WHEY of the Shred. Really looking forward to that. Who knows how far into the future that will occur, but I do foresee it happening. But anyway, yeah, so I've been taking 2 scoops of whey protein a day, and I don't know, I think I'm getting around, on average, 160 to 190 grams of protein per day. And I feel good. I think the benefit of eating more protein than you might necessarily need, which is a big reason why I want to speak to a nutritionist. But I think one of the cool perks of eating more protein than you might necessarily need is that there's not really much, there's no negative to over consuming on protein. When it comes to macronutrients, you can eat a bunch of carbs and store the carbs as fat. You can eat a bunch of fat and store the fat as fat. But when it comes to protein, as long as you are maintaining a caloric deficit, what happens to an excess of protein? It's like a safe bet. You can't go wrong. And that's one thing I'm finding as a pretty cool perk. Now, if you want to talk about the cons of eating a whole bunch of protein, which is something I've never done before, I've experienced smellier farts. So that's just something to keep in mind. I've always been a pretty flatulent individual, but my farts have never really smelled in the past. I mean, sometimes depending on what I eat, but it's been pretty consistent for the past several days to weeks that my farts smell bad as a result of the only thing that I've changed about my diet is the amount of protein that I'm eating throughout the day. So it's got to be protein. And I've seen other bodybuilding type individuals post on their various social media platforms talking about protein farts and stuff like that. So I guess that's exactly what I'm experiencing. Personally, I don't mind it. I like the smell of my farts, even though they do smell pretty bad, but everyone likes their own brand. I just feel bad for my lady who's in the other room, and she's not one to complain about my farts, but recently she has been, with good reason. So almost to the point where I'm even considering switching up my diet again and maybe decreasing the amount of protein that I'm eating on a daily basis, just because I'm truly not convinced that there is that much of a benefit to eating more than the daily recommendation when on a weight loss journey or diet, what have you. But I'm not gonna switch my diet until I actually get more concrete information. As there's just so much conflicting information out there when it comes to macronutrients and how much protein you should eat when you're losing weight and things of that nature. So just to err on the side of caution, I'm going to stick with the high protein just for now, probably until I hit my 5%, at which point I can make some adjustments, switch it up, and figure out what I want to do next while still maintaining a very low body fat, but building mass and getting bigger, stronger, staying lean. So it's an extremely exciting time. What else is going on? I'm trying to make sure that this is educational, that I'm able to provide some insight into what a person can, should, or needs to do in order to hit the level of aesthetic, physique, shred that I am pursuing. So that's definitely something that's in the back of my mind as I continue to provide these updates. Another thing that I've been struggling with, and perhaps this is something of an afterthought, but it is something that I think about quite often throughout the day. I feel conflicted that now that I'm in this new space of extreme focus, where I'm able to dismiss all other distractions and just keep my mind on the specific goal of achieving the physique and the body fat and all that good stuff, setting up my own health and wellness consulting service, I feel guilty about my negligence of my day job. The day job that allows me to afford all the wonderful things that I spend money on throughout the day. I don't pay as much of attention to it as I feel that I should. I get one-track minded when it comes to things I'm extremely passionate about. I used the analogy earlier that my day job, and for those who don't know, I am currently, at the time of recording this, I am a community manager where I manage HOAs. And I was just saying, like, it feels like my day job is the neglected girlfriend that I just got bored of. And the only reason I started dating her in the first place is because she was like really generous with sexual favors, but I was never that into her. Yet you couldn't deny the amount of times that she was offering to like give me a hand job or fellatio or something like that. And at some point in the relationship, yeah, the hand jobs and the fellatio still felt great, but after the 100th or the 200th time, you just start looking elsewhere. You know, if you never liked the person to begin with, you're just going to start thinking, and your mind's going to wander. And I feel like that's where I'm at in regards to this job, where it has been paying me well. It's afforded me a lifestyle that I'm very comfortable in, but I feel like I am on the cusp of a transition into my own business and making money in a career that I am extremely passionate and dedicated to. One that I've always been extremely invested in. And this transition, it feels uncomfortable, it feels painful, and I feel guilty. I feel guilty. And that's something I'm dealing with. Now, how you can take that and apply it to your own fitness journey, I don't know. But this is just something that I'm thinking about right now, and I hope to make the necessary adjustments mentally to respect the job that pays me while I continue to work it. Because it's, at this point, it's a hobby. This whole thing that I'm doing is a hobby that doesn't pay me. I see what the end result looks like, and I'm able to visualize fantastic results for myself, my physique, my finances, my level of success and influence, all that wonderful stuff. But I'm not living in that future yet. I'm living in the present. And in the present, I have a job. Just like everybody else. Yeah. January 2nd, 2022. 2023, excuse me. It's always funny that the year turns and it takes like, for me it takes like a week to start writing the dates of the new year whenever you are prompted and stuff like that. I think that happens to most people. I'm feeling good though. No more binges. We are so close to the finish line. I have a photo shoot coming up in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I can only imagine, if I stay the course, how ready I will look for that photo shoot. And that is literally for the purpose of creating ads on the internet, social media platforms, and just throwing it out there. I'm ready for this transition. I might even be at 5% by then. Who knows? Yeah. I'm enjoying the process.